An early morning here in the shop. It's been a while since you guys have seen the bikes or had any update on them or anything, and I had a video planned with the bike that is currently on the table here, which we'll get to in a second, but it's not done. I thought I'd do a little bit of a walkthrough, a little bit of update with some of the bikes in here because some things have changed, some bikes are progressing, but they're just not big enough to make a video on, so you get little minor updates waiting between the video and now. Unfortunately, a lot of parts were on delay at the beginning of this year, and that kind of put a damper on a lot of things. There's a huge shipping thing, and getting parts from overseas was pretty difficult for a little bit there. If you know anything about some of the bikes I'm working on, my Italian bike is still in pieces. But I've been pushing away at some of the bikes recently, and now I'm kind of just in a standstill waiting for parts, waiting for things to arrive to finish some things up. So let's talk about where we are. So to talk about the bike that's currently up here, if you can't tell what this is my 1975-76 Triumph T140. I believe there's only been 2 videos with this bike so far. The video where we got it running, it was sitting for around 10 years when I picked it up, and then we also made a comparison with this and the XS650, which is not here and is in storage because that bike is like 90% dialed in. I also need to be a little careful where I point this because there is a new bike right there that I haven't shown yet. The Bonneville here is just getting a refresh of all the things it needed. The fuel taps were wrong, the seat trimming, the wiring, all of those things were wrong. So I am going through and fixing and sorting through all just the minor things that it needs. The bike has seen its better days in terms of some of the polish here, but a lot of this should come out with just a little bit of elbow grease, which can go a long way. It's time consuming, but it's definitely well worth it because this should shine up really nicely. And I did polish the tank, and I'll show you guys that later. It's in the other garage right now, but I also did wash the bike. It's just going to need a little bit more of an in-detail kind of thorough clean to get all of that small grime off of it. Now I know you guys are seeing the orange bike in the background. Unfortunately, the orange bike sitting here, the RD350, my 1975, another bike which was very, very close to when we bought that Triumph. I bought this bike, it had been sitting for around 5 to 10 years or so. We played around with the points the very first day. We got it running, but it wasn't running great. It was kind of misfiring on one cylinder, barely running on one. And I cleaned the carburetors, and I've told you guys all that before. The only thing this bike needs right now is it needs the tank petcock cleaned out again, and I need to rebuild the seals. The seals that go into the petcock there are fairly expensive, but the problem I'm having is it's not distributing gasoline evenly to both cylinders, or to both carbs I should say, which means that it's not getting proper fuel into one of the cylinders. It needs very minor adjustments. Maybe I'll be able to squeeze it in after I get the Triumph off the table here. I really want to get this bike running nicely. It's super close, and every time I walk through the shop here, I see this bike sitting here, and I'm like, I just need like half an hour with it and it should run right. I believe this head and the barrel are 2 separate pieces, and there's gaskets that live in here which can apparently break down. I do believe the oil pump is working, and we're just going to go through all of those things and make sure it's all functioning properly and really take our time and maybe reset the points, if not replace the points and condensers, because I do have all those parts. All of that is going to be in one video, getting the bike 100% healthy and refreshed. It's going to be a little bit of a longer one, and that is kind of one of my things for this year. I want to make videos where there's a lot happening. There isn't really an update with any of the other bikes in here, just because I'm trying to get these couple of bikes running, but there are a few new things. In a video where I believe we worked on the XS, I picked up this Suzuki dirt bike from one of my buddies, and I've been trying everything in order to get this bike running. Valves, carburetors, timing, everything, and I can't get the bike running. And I've brought it down and narrowed it down to one thing, and it's this box right here. So this bike has also taken a decent amount of my attention because I've literally gone through every scenario of why this bike isn't running, and I've narrowed it down to that has to be the culprit, and I probably should have known that. Oh, the Ducati. This thing is coming along pretty nicely, but we're just waiting for the days to get a little bit warmer. The braking system is officially done, and we just gotta work on the fueling system, and you're gonna have to wait until the next video to see any details on that. I'm slowly piecing through some of the other bikes, waiting for some bikes to get sent to paint. Hopefully I will be sending one of my Hondas to paint here in the next couple of weeks. If anyone knows any painters in the Wisconsin area or Midwest area that does a really good job for a semi-affordable and realistic price, let me know, because I don't know anyone at the moment, but I'm sure there's someone around here that hopefully should be able to get it done. I would like to try painting a bike myself at some point, but the BSA and my CB750 are not the correct ones to paint. Maybe I paint that Suzuki for the fun of it. 4 of the bikes are probably going to get done at the exact same time. The 4 I just showed you, the RD, the Ducati, the Suzuki, and the Triumph. They're probably going to be done all in a month of each other, and then there's going to be another 4 bikes that I'm working on simultaneously. It's much easier to work on a few different bikes at the same time than to work on just one, because when you run into a wall with one bike, well, you can transition to the other one. Hopefully parts will arrive, because most of the time it's a waiting game for parts. If you have all the parts, then it's pretty easy to slap them together. You know, you might spend a couple of days troubleshooting one issue, which always happens, but it's not like you're waiting weeks and weeks and weeks, and then you realize, oh, you need another part, then you need another part, and then it just spirals. So that's kind of why I'm working on multiple things at the same time. I wanted to get this Triumph done because the Ducati was on pause because we're waiting for it to get warm. The Suzuki, I'm just trying to justify spending $200 on a CDI box for it, because that should be the only issue. Did spend a good amount of time with that, and, well, still working on it, so I gotta put all my tools back. And there is a new bike. If you can tell what motorcycle that is just based off of the tail right there, if anyone can guess in the comment section and they get it right, well, I'll send you something. So take your guesses. Now come summertime, I will be taking all my bikes out for a proper collection video. Now that we're in the other garage, I can show you my tank that I had polished up. But before that, there is another new bike right there. There are 3 at the moment to be exact. One is a bike I bought for just myself. It was a bike I spent a little bit of extra money on because I found the right one, but I still think I did really good on it. It's a bike I've been looking for. I bought it fully running, everything like that. And then I bought 2 more bikes that hopefully we will be saving in the next couple of months. I've got one of the bikes running, but it's going to need some work. And the second one I haven't touched whatsoever because, well, I need to get through some of the other bikes. I was working deals on all 3 of them for multiple months, and they all just came true at the same time. But here's the tank for the Triumph. It's been sitting collecting dust for a little bit, but you can see that, yes, there is unfortunately that scratch there, but this paint looks phenomenal outside of that. I love this color. Also, to give an update on a bike I haven't given an update on in a long time, this is a CB354 motor. The CB354 I bought, honestly, I bought it in a condition where it was basically parts, because it didn't come with a lot of things that a proper running, riding, and fixable bike would come with. Fortunately, it had a ton of good parts, even though that bike sat outside, parked next to a tree in Arkansas, Oklahoma, it's a tree in Oklahoma. It sat there for 20 years, and it was actually pretty decent. What I mean by decent is compared to a Wisconsin bike, it survived. A lot of the original parts are still usable. Yes, the engine was locked up. We fixed that. We're gonna rebuild the engine, but it's not going to be an original bike, I don't think. It's a little too far gone to bring it back to its OEM, kind of what it was. I don't want to do a cafe racer on it. That was a consideration at one point, but I also don't want to just ruin the bike, even though it is practically parts. I think we can make the parts into something really cool. There's more to come on that, but it's a project that we've now gone from, yeah, maybe we'll get to it this year, to I need another CB354, a proper all original machine for my collection still, and sorry, there's a deer on the road. But I do need another CB354 for my collection still. I hope that makes sense. I would have loved to save this bike, but it's just a little too far gone. But I know there were a fair amount of people who were excited, as I was, to see that bike back on the road running in some aspect. It's just not gonna be original. Fortunately, I'm going to go see some of my other bikes right now, so you can kind of see where the rest of the collection is, what they're looking like. Literally nothing has changed with them, but for someone who is new here, if you want a little sneak peek, I'll give you a little sneak peek, I suppose. And, well, here are some of the other bikes. The one bike I'd like to get to somewhere in the near future is this right here. This is a BMW R69. I've shown you guys this bike before. We've taken it out for a ride. This bike needs just a cosmetic lift up, to be honest with you. It's just been sitting for a little bit, and it needs its carburetors either rebuilt or needs new carbs. And a few of the other bikes kind of just sitting, chilling, waiting for summertime. It really does suck I can't ride my bikes more. I can't turn that way. There's one of the other bikes I bought over there. It sucks I can't ride the bikes more. We only have maybe 4-5 good months at the very most. One of the bikes I've been itching to ride the most is my Hornet. I absolutely just love that bike. I bought it at the end of last year after looking for one for a pretty solid amount of time. not wanting to spend a lot, and this one came at a really good price, and it's just such a good bike. I can't wait for riding season. It's just a little bit longer. I know this video might be a little bit boring for some people, just going through some of the motorcycles and what's going on with them. I know some people are curious on some of the bikes, etc. So, well, I thought it'd be a good little video. I'm just waiting for parts right now. It sucks, but that's what it is. Waiting for parts, waiting to fix a couple things, and waiting to get these things back out on the road. Without that, there isn't really any content other than just talking about motorcycles, and I'm kind of bored of talking about motorcycles, and I wanted to show some of the bikes and what's going on with them without going super into detail. But if you are excited to see some of these bikes come back to life, make sure you subscribe, leave a like on this video, and I guess as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.